Hello, my name's Revenge. Since I made that video about Chimptopia and Night Terror and talking about the creator's checkered past, people have expressed interest in finding out who Night Terror is, and so I thought I'd give people a deep dive into the lore of Night Terror, his world, and supporting characters. Night Terror was initially created way back in 2001 when I was in the first grade. He started out as a spider sona long before it was cool to have spider sonas. Eventually, as time went on, I did several rewrites, added more lore, and eventually he became so far removed from the Spider Man aspect of his origin story that he ended up becoming an original character. First, he was a kid bitten by a radioactive spider. Gee, where have we heard that one before? And in 2003, he hung out with the Teen Titans, as if it weren't any more obvious that it was written by a millennial in elementary school. Then in 2007, he was an alien banished from his home planet after the awakening of his powers drove him to murder his abusive parents. I eventually removed the patricide and replaced it with a much cooler plotline of him being a failed revolutionary whose rebellion was crushed by the same evil empire he was trying to remove from power. The exiled alien plot ended up becoming its own character known as the Ultimatum, Night Terror's equivalent to Superman, and founding leader of the Japanese coalition of heroes, my version of the Justice League or the Avengers, but now legitimized as a government institution. I eventually settled on him being an orphaned American immigrant that was raised in Japan named James. He was raised under the strict teachings of Kuzuyama Yonoike, an aging warrior that used to be part of a once proud and respected clan of Manibushi known as the Yoru no Kyofu. Manibushi are warriors who are trained under the tutelage of both samurai and shinobi, mastering the art of the binary, light and darkness, life and death, black and white, yin and yang. James was adopted to become a student of Kuzuyama. Somewhere during that time, he had received a brain injury that gave him amnesia that erased the first 12 years of his life, only being able to remember his first name. He was strangely gifted during training, almost as if he had done all of this before. 9 months later, he had completed training in record time. It was then time for James to ascend to the spirit world and form a lifetime bond with a jutsu spirit, and gain the ability to perform the magic of the shinobi. Normally, it is the mortal that is supposed to choose who he bonds with, but one jutsu spirit had other plans. Enter Kumanga, the demon puppeteer, the jutsu spirit of violence. He forcefully bonded with James because he sensed that James was capable of inflicting great violence. Kumanga is not inherently evil. His previous host, the founder of the Yoru no Kyofu, used the powers given to him by Kumanga for good. Kumanga's purpose is to cause violence. It doesn't matter if it's for good or for evil. With that bonding, James officially became a Manibushi. All that was left was to make his uniform, and so he designed a suit with all the tech that was made available to him thanks to Kuzuyama. What was forged was a uniform that inspired fear and dread in those who ever encountered him. He became the relentless Night Terror, and for 6 years he defended Tamashimura and its inhabitants from supervillains, solved strange mysteries, and became myth amongst the people, known as the Ghost of Tamashimura. Throughout his career up until he was 18, James was subjected to things no kid should ever experience, nearly dying multiple times, grievous injuries, seeing the absolute worst that humanity is capable of, and physical and emotional abuse at the hands of his own guardian and teacher. This left him with PTSD, anger issues, hypervigilance, a lack of proper social skills, and a fear of big crowds and having his back exposed. He'll constantly check exits, his eyes magnetized to anyone that's holding something that could even remotely be used as a weapon, and he has quite the temper whenever someone insults or threatens someone he cares about. The only reason he hasn't become an antisocial outcast, or worse, a supervillain, is because of his wife, Jenny O'Gallagher Sharonkov. Jenny is very special to James. She's able to make him emotional when he was taught all of his life to keep those emotions buried. Whenever he talks about her, it's like he's reciting poetry. Her joyous and supportive attitude inspires James to be a better person. When he turned 18, he married Jenny and left for college to get a bachelor's degree in computer science at Motherboard University, content with leaving the superhero life behind to live a normal life. The series truly starts after our hero has supposedly gotten his happy ending and has been retired from being a superhero for 2 years. He's all grown up, finished college, married, adopted 2 children, and is currently working a soul sucking corporate job, waiting for the day to start his own business, all while living in one of the greatest cities in the world, Motherboard Island, Japan's crowning jewel of technological innovation, an artificial man made island the size of Hong Kong just off the coast of southern Japan, home to some of the greatest scientific minds and superheroes the world has ever seen. The perfect paradise to live a normal life and raise a family. Or so he thought. It turns out Motherboard isn't the place he thought it was. Despite being home to the Japanese coalition of heroes, crime is rampant. The corruption throughout the city is thicker than poorly made yakisoba. At the center of it all is the super corporation known as Fenrir, one of the most powerful and influential tech companies on the planet. When they aren't developing tech for the JCH to defeat new threats, they're pulling strings behind the scenes of both the hero overworld and the criminal underworld, and everything in between. Fenrir was once a philanthropic corporation, but over the years lost its way and has turned into something irreparably rotten. Not wanting to give his adopted children a bleak future where the city they grow up in is a crime-ridden hellhole, he once again dons the mask. James's story is one of balancing being a hero and a family, surviving with crippling PTSD while trying to be a normal person. Can he manage being a superhero and be a father and husband? Can he be the lethal protector that his family and Motherboard Island needs without becoming a monster? Night Terror's story challenges the conventions of superhero media without being overly cynical like The Boys, or use gore as a crutch like Invincible does. No disrespect meant for Invincible. I actually like the show, even with its problems like gore for the sake of it. But all the disrespect to The Boys, both the show and the comic. That rant aside, it also challenges the idealism a lot of superhero media tries to champion for, that we can live in a world without killing the bad guy, that everybody at their core is a good person, with a message of how championing blind heroic idealism and utopian ideology without a sense of pragmatism or sobriety can be dangerous. But it isn't all doom and gloom and serious vibes all the time. Night Terror also has its fair share of lighthearted, wholesome, and comedic moments to ensure the story doesn't become depressing misery porn. It takes time to ask funny questions like, what does a superhero do in their free time? What happens when an emotionally stoic superhero veteran has to contend with the morbidly positive, unlimited energy source that is a 7-year-old? And which is more chaotic, being a superhero or being a parent? Night Terror will also have a strong supporting cast. By his side is his wife Jenny, an Irish immigrant and New Troubles refugee. Her mother died of breast cancer when she was only 12, with only her Russian stepdad, Victor, left to take care of her. She's a VTuber and streamer, loves to cook, cosplays, and is an absolute gun nut. She is the glue that holds the family together. She is the reason that James aspires to be a better person. She actively challenges James and keeps him on the straight and narrow. But she isn't without her own set of problems as well. She may be positive and likes to wear a smile, but deep down she hides the grief of her late mother, bad memories of being bullied in Tamashimura, and a quiet insecurity believing that she's undeserving of the life she's been given. Something else also boils under the surface, but you'll have to watch the show to find out what it is. Kajiwara is James and Jenny's adopted son. When he was just a baby, he was the survivor of a freak accident that took the life of his mother. He's shy and not very talkative. Diagnosed with autism from an early age, he carries a blanket that his mother had given him before she died. Su Jeong, or Crystal as she likes to be called, is an energetic, morbidly positive fireball condensed into the tiny package of a 7-year-old Korean girl. She is the daughter of two North Korean refugees that were not able to take care of her, so she was put into the system where she met Kajiwara. Due to a string of supervillain terrorist attacks, there's been a large influx of orphan children, and both the governments of South Korea and Japan have been forced to lower the standards of adoption, even going as far as to be less strict with foreigners in their requirements. And that's how they ended up in James and Jenny's care. But it doesn't just start and end with the family. Motherboard Island is home to a sizable community of masked heroes. There's Violet Lace, also known as Kimicho Oyamazu, a botanokinetic and metahuman cure camp survivor. After her father sent her to one of these camps, she was subjected to barbarous, pseudoscientific torture. She then escaped on her 18th birthday, and since then has made it her mission to take down the Metahuman Cure Initiative and all of their sponsors. In a way, she's almost an inverse mirror of Night Terror. She's experienced horrible things at an age she shouldn't have, but managed to successfully heal from it. She's the chill big sister in her group of friends and is wise beyond her years. She'll kick your ass while remaining cool as a cucumber. Then there's her friends Homura Kurenai and Shiratsuki Yuki, two kitsune princesses of the hidden kitsune kingdoms of fire and ice. Their families never approved of their friendship due to their burning hatred for each other. So they ran away from their kingdoms to live a life of peace among the humans. Homura is a hot-headed, rule-breaking free spirit that doesn't like to be told what to do. She was born with 3 tails, which not only came with status, but with power. She was hailed as a prodigy for the Kurenai family. By virtue of her having 3 tails compared to most kitsune only having 1 or 2, she's naturally very powerful with a lot of natural potential. But with that potential comes a bullheaded overconfidence that tends to get her into a lot of trouble. When she isn't working or helping the others fight crime, she likes to chill out and relax with a nice frosty treat. Shiratsuki, or Shira for short, is an elegant, demure, live-by-the-rules type of girl. She became the black sheep of the Yuki family when she was born with only 1 tail in a family with 2 tails. Nothing she did was ever good enough, even when she passed with top marks in her classes of wielding kitsune magic. She is creative and intelligent, being able to work around her limitations of power due to being born with only 1 tail. When she's not helping clean up the streets of Motherboard, she likes to sit down with a nice, hot, spicy treat. She can eat a gag gift ramen that is unreasonably spicy like it's a tame afternoon snack and drink down buldak sauce like it's water. These 2 princesses have their own mission. Initially, they just wanted to live in the world of humans in peace. But soon they found out that exiled kitsune are being trafficked by the Arcane Syndicate, a crime ring of witches and wizards that traffic magical creatures for slave labor and prostitution. They've made it their duty to rescue these kitsune castouts from the clutches of the Arcane Syndicate and give them the peace they deserve. Then there's Suki Maiko, an average everyday woman except she was born with acquired growth hormone deficiency. Her short stature and almost childlike appearance often leads to her facing bigotry. She's often disregarded and infantilized because of her appearance, despite the fact she is a strong, hyper-independent woman with a well-paying job. Pair this with her struggling love life, and she has a tendency to lash out at others she believes aren't taking her seriously. But beneath this harsh exterior of someone tired of other people's bullshit is someone who desires to let her walls down and love people. She is the kind of person that remembers obscure things that you mentioned in passing conversation and will get you a gift based on that thing you mentioned. She doesn't care about status or money, as evident by who she's currently dating. The Red Eye, aka Kurokawa Toshio. By day, he is a handsome, charming waiter that works at a spicy ramen noodle restaurant and Sugi's boyfriend. By night, he becomes the Red Eye, sworn enemy to the Candy Skull drug cartels, trying to deal in his neighborhood. At a young age, he lost his eye trying to defend a classmate from a group of gangsters. The classmate's father rewarded him by helping pay for a cybernetic replacement of his eye. Kurokawa experiences dysphoria with this eye and doesn't like using it, often keeping that eye closed or covered. He became a vigilante after being inspired by Night Terror and seeing what the Candy Skull drug cartels were doing to his neighborhood. Then we have Wizard Man, aka Alex Durandal. He is the 42nd Great Wizard of Yar, the guardian of two worlds. He serves as an ambassador between the world of Yar and the world of humans. Long ago, back in the 7th century, humans tried to hunt mystical creatures to extinction. So the first great wizard created a brand new dimension where mystical creatures could live in peace. 14 centuries later, Alex is now tasked with helping mystical creatures reintegrate into human society. He faces several challenges, having to deal with the red tape of the JCH, having to protect the people of Yar from those who shun them, secret societies that still wish to eradicate all mystical beings, and the Arcane Syndicate. And finally, we have his boyfriend, Edry Morningstar, an elven druid who has mastered the druidic arts. He is Wizard Man's partner and co-ambassador. Don't let his feminine appearance fool you. As a druid, he can wield the power of nature to control plants, talk to animals, and heal a wide range of poisons and curses. He is also a skilled archer. Combined with his command over the power of nature, he becomes a valuable asset on the battlefield. Despite this, he is also a very kind soul. He loves to sing, watch cartoons, and is absolutely captivated by how different the world of humans is to the world of Yar. But that's just a few of the characters and a small glimpse of the world of Night Terror. If you'd like to see more, I have a playlist of all the demo episodes that I've made so far, and an original soundtrack composed by me in collaboration with several talented artists. This is a show I hope to pitch to Glitch Productions. Even now as I make this video, I'm finishing up all of the necessary materials like my lore bible, the screenplay for my pilot, and even the pitch speech. If you have any further questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And if you would like to support me, consider supporting me on Patreon or Ko-Fi. This is Revenge, and I hope to hear from you soon.